Assalamu alaikum, Maryam. How are you?
Alaikum assalam, Salma. Alhamdulillah.
Just want to give you guys behind the scenes. You guys don't know how difficult it is for us to coordinate a 20-minute conversation to record these podcasts. Just
100%.
just to coordinate between getting our kids settled and being in the headspace.
Yeah, when
Uh,
one takes a nap, like if her
mhm.
child finally took a nap, then mine would decide to wake up at that time.
Yeah.
Or just any random things happen, like it's snack time or,
The
subhanAllah,
second
they
the second
already,
snack of the day.
yeah,
Yeah.
subhanAllah. Like we were talking a few days ago that, oh, like we can't just record like that. We want to be in the right headspace. But we
Mhm.
realize that we never are in the right space.
Yeah.
And we thought that you guys would actually relate to us, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We had originally discussed recording after the kids sleep at night, but I think we all just pass out in bed with them. Nothing is happening. And speaking of
Yeah.
snacks, I was reflecting this morning. I was thinking, I was like, whenever we get pregnant or have a baby, everyone's like, yeah, you need to sleep train, you need to baby led wean, you need to get this play gym. I needed someone to advise me about the whole breakfast one, breakfast two, snack one, pre lunch snack, then lunch, and then the pre dinner snack, and then pre dinner. I needed someone to tell me that I'm going to be feeding humans 7 to 8 times a day, and I needed to be like creative about it.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there are so many strategies that we tried, but it definitely gets better with age more than the strategy. And especially with homeschooling, this is very known. Like even everybody started making jokes about it during COVID because all the kids were
Eating.
inside all day and
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
just like want to eat more and more and more. And yeah, so I was thinking in the idea of being in the right headspace, like before
hmm
starting to record these
hmm
podcasts. And I thought that you guys would appreciate to just see how things are like for real. We're not
Yeah.
able to always be present either for us, for ourselves, for our kids, for a podcast. It needs a lot of shifting,
Yeah.
right?
It's a
We
muscle. Yeah.
need
It's a muscle that
to
we have to work
realize that.
on. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, of course, we don't want to disappoint you. We want to
hmm
be our best. I think that's just
Yeah.
a normal trait that we have as humans is that no matter how, like no matter what you achieved in life, even the famous people who are always like in camera, they they always want to show up as best as they can. And we want to do the same, but there's a difference between trying to have everything perfect, everything lined up,
Yes. Yes.
and just try your best to shift your thoughts to a little bit, see like more positivity, right?
Yeah.
Before I turned on my computer, a lot of things didn't work out. And some of them are because of my daughter, because she came right after me and she changed the theme and it was contrast, like she changed the contrast theme and stuff.
Of your
And
computer?
yeah, uh,
MashaAllah.
and I realized at that moment I could either be upset
Yeah.
and like, why is this happening, or just clear my
Push
mind and
through, like
do
we
it.
always do.
Yeah, I think it took me 30 seconds to figure it out.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would take me even longer because I have to think through it. And I'm also blocked with all these emotions like, oh, why is it happening again? It's annoying. They touch everything, you know? So, yeah,
Yeah.
this was my reflection for today.
It's funny because you said about perfection. So you guys listen to us when you need to get things done, but I cannot listen to my own voice when I'm getting things done. So
Yeah.
I sometimes like to there's this Muslim woman on YouTube who homesteads. So I kind of listen to her while she's cleaning. I clean alongside her. And it happened in that video, she was making bagels and she overproofed her dough. And if you know
Yeah.
anything about dough, if you overproof it, it's a mess. Right? Like it doesn't hold its shape anymore. It's too mushy. And she said something that really hit me. And she's like, it's okay, right? Because perfection is only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I'm not meant to make perfect bagels all the time. We're not
Yeah.
meant to be in perfect situations all the time. because we're not, Allah didn't create us that way. So I thought that was really, really
Yeah.
profound. So رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري. We are post the first 10 days of Ramadan. And my 1-year-old got tonsillitis 5 days into Ramadan. And we're still kind of trying to find our way back to reading a juz a day, remembering to pray sunnahs and extras, and we were just in survival mode. And subhanAllah, it just keeps popping up on my feed on social media, the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, when a woman went up to him and said, like, you know, it's not fair that men take all the ajr for going to jihad and fighting, and we just stay back. And the Prophet ﷺ responded to her and said, everything you do in your home, you keep doing what you're doing, and it equals what these men are doing. And it made me think, like, we really, really try to undermine our struggle as women of the day-to-day, of the cleaning and the homemaking, the cooking, the taking care of your children, the worshiping Allah around your children. But it was literally prescribed in our deen that this is a struggle. We don't have to sugarcoat it. We don't have to say, I don't want it to be a struggle. You know, it's a blessing. It is a blessing. Blessings could be hard. Not all blessing. Relaxation is not for the dunya.
Yeah.
And so
I like that. You're right.
Yeah,
blessings can be hard because we usually associate blessings with
easiness, comfort,
easiness and roses and everything is perfect. But again, it's not for Jannah. It's for Jannah. It's not for dunya.
Exactly. And then, like, subhanAllah, another video popped up that talked about the Prophet ﷺ as well, about Taraweeh, and how he would go to Taraweeh at night 1, and then he would go night 2, and then he would go night 3, and then he would stop and take a break. And he said that he was worried that if he did it every day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would make it an obligation upon us. And subhanAllah, Allah knows our capabilities. I don't know why we try to paint this picture that we try to achieve of being these achieving perfect beings, when for 5 days I held my 1-year-old. Well, like, I got sciatica from holding my 1-year-old for 5 days. And I felt like I fell off the track and all of these things, where Allah put me in this makana. He put me in this space to take care of him and comfort him. But a lot of these expectations sometimes made me very resentful.
That's the thing. I mean, you're right. Everything you said, mashallah, you said it in a very beautiful way. And you feel resentful because you're always looking at the other side, thinking that I'm missing out on so many things.
Yes.
And that's a mechanism of coping with the discomfort of holding your child that's fussy, and you're hurt physically and you're exhausted. So if it was related to a child or not, like, even if you were exhausted with something else, you will still feel resentful because you're like, I wish I'm in the other side. Everything seems greener if this wasn't happening.
Yeah.
So subhanAllah, that's when shaitan also comes and tries to leave us spiraling in that situation.
Yeah.
And I do that all the time when things don't go my way, when things hiccups show up. I become resentful and disappointed.
Yeah.
I mean, I just like the perfectionism, and that, again, like, it's fueled by shaitan, astaghfirullah. And we're always trying to. So I think someone told us that doing things perfectly is good. I think growing up, I wasn't taught about ihsan as much, but I was just doing things perfect or great.
Yeah.
And in my mind,
ihsan is such a big deal. And I think people really confuse ihsan with perfection, because ihsan is having excellence in what you're capable of doing.
Yeah.
Based on the parameters that Allah has set. Not this perfection according to who? Like, who's gonna set the standard of perfection?
Yeah, subhanallah. You know, there's one quote that I like, a question that I heard before
Mm,
on social media,
mm,
and it stuck with me for years. It was like,
mm,
if you were not gonna mess it up, if no one would be mad at you, what would you do? And sometimes
mm.
that just reminds me of, if I'm not able to do this thing, is Allah gonna be mad at me, or He's gonna be
Yeah.
understanding? He knows my situation, you know. If I really wanted to pray the sunnah or like pray on time, and I tried and something happened, is Allah gonna be mad at me, or I'm just disappointed at myself for
Yes.
not working even harder or something? Like, you know, like I feel like
Yeah.
God always comes to you in your own way, in like in a unique way that matches your weakness. And so if you're
Mm,
trying to do things beautifully, he'll find a loophole when it comes to get you and deviate you from that and actually make it
yeah.
a yourself and perfectionism. Does that make sense?
Yes, it's a slippery slope because once you start thinking that way and you feel like, okay, then shaitan takes you down the road of why should you even start? You're never gonna do it correctly,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. My
So
friend said, I think said Bajor said that. It's
mm,
like Shaitan has a PhD in this stuff. He knows what
yeah.
he's doing. Astaghfirullah. May Allah protect us and keep us on a straight path and make it
I
easy on
mean,
us.
so yeah, so that's
Alhamdulillah.
pretty much been my Ramadan of just snuggling the
May
little
Allah make
man.
it maghfirah lidunub, a means of
I mean,
forgiveness. Ya
I
Rabbi.
mean, and I saw recently, like something, I don't know, it clicked in my head. I saw a family picture on social media. I should be off social media. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
it sparks ideas, right? I saw a family picture of a Muslim family, a mom, three boys, mashallah, and her husband. And for the first time, I did not I did not notice the family as much as I noticed the mom. And like I almost felt like the roots from the mom, right, were penetrating through her kids.
See, this is what I mean when I say Salma always finds beauty in everything she does. MashaAllah, like your imagination, your Waldorfy side is coming up.
No, it really made me feel like the health of a family
Yeah.
radiates through the mom, the
Yeah, we
wife,
are
the
the glue.
woman. We
Yeah.
literally are. We are the vibes. And
Yeah.
if our vibes are unhealthy, and the whole
Mhm.
family's vibes are questionable,
Yeah, if
right?
we're not confident, if we don't think that we're worthy,
Mhm.
whatever we do is important, it shows up, and
Yeah.
we end up being resentful and like distracted. I think
Mhm.
most of the moms now that I talk to, especially, in coaching,
Mhm.
most of the problem that come up have to do with just being distracted,
Mm.
not believing in ourselves that we can do
Yeah.
things. So,
Yeah.
yes, parenting is difficult, it's uncomfortable. So, what we do is try to distract ourselves with things. And it could
Yeah.
be scrolling, doom
Mhm.
scrolling, or it
Mhm.
could be just aspirations. Like
Yeah.
you're trying to figure out a healthy a healthy recipe to make a regular cake, instead of I can't
Yeah.
find my words, but anyway, like
Mhm.
a healthy substitute of something, and
Mhm.
you'll grab your phone and you'll start looking it up, and then you're
Yes,
sucked
and one
up in
thing
that.
takes you down, yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then your child's asking just a question, but you
Mhm.
didn't answer, it's been asking for 5 minutes, and things just heat up, and you're like, I'm exhausted, I can't do this, I'm tired.
Yeah.
But a lot of it just comes from us being distracted because we're not facing the reality of our worth. We're not believing
Mhm.
in ourselves. We're not
Mhm.
not motivating. We're not giving pep talks to ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, you're, mashallah, look how much you did. Look, you're caring for your kids. You're getting good deeds for this.
Mhm.
Alhamdulillah, you got to pray. Alhamdulillah, you woke up today. Alhamdulillah, your
Yeah.
kids are the way they
It's
are.
never enough.
Yeah,
We always want more, but we
yeah.
never actually sit like, we're reading Ramadan reflections now in our Ramadan boot camp group. And she talks about gratitude in the book, and we don't really realize she's like, if you sit and count your blessings, you won't be
Oh,
able to. There's too much. Like,
Yeah.
imagine if you didn't have eyelashes. Imagine if you didn't have fingernails. Imagine if you didn't have your eyebrows. Imagine, like, subhanallah, I'm a biology major. If you're missing one amino acid in an enzyme in your body, you could be sick for life. And
Yeah.
so
Subhanallah.
there's so many intricacies in our lives that when one, like, 0.0000001% is taken away, we feel it, but we don't notice it
Subhanallah.
when we have it.
Yeah,
Uh,
when we just don't sleep well, we
oh my
feel so dizzy and everything feels like it's falling apart.
Sleep.
And you know what else I liked in that book that
Mm,
hit me really hard is that
yeah.
you are a Muslim and you are also a human.
Yes.
Because again, going back to the perfectionism,
Mm,
um, being a Muslim, like, oh no, I'm a Muslimah. I need to be doing this certain way. I need
yeah.
to like hold all these high standards and all of that. But I forget that I'm a human and humans
Yes.
are prone to making mistakes and prone to being
Yes.
tired. And right after that, being a human, that's why Allah give us tawbah and
Yeah.
istighfar. And it's
Yeah.
always available. And it's so simple. The steps of
It
tawbah,
is.
alhamdulillah, like in Ramadan, all the shuyukh talk about the dua and tawbah. So
Mm,
the steps are very, very simple, and you can just look it up on YouTube and
yeah.
see which lecture that you resonate with the most
Mm-hmm.
so you can understand it.
Mm-hmm.
But subhanAllah, yes, we are human. And the other good thing about human is being human is we go through phases, we grow, we learn.
Yeah. We ebb and flow.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and again, like there's Yasser Qadi, I think
Mm,
he did one of the khataras. I think I listened to it today,
mm,
and he was giving the examples of all the prophets that needed to make dua. I mean, everybody did, but
yes.
the ones
Yeah.
that were recorded after a calamity, and the
Mm,
way Allah described it in the Quran was after like the prophets called استجبنا ونادى and واستجبنا, right? So it
yeah.
was
So,
always a call, and then there was the dua came true. So alhamdulillah, I think all of these reminders help me. Sometimes I do.
mm,
Do you get tired from, not tired, do you get what's the word? Overwhelmed with the amount of lectures that are popping up in the
oh,
new
dude.
shows on YouTube? And you're like, okay, this one is 20 minutes, this one is 30 minutes, this one is 10. When am I gonna listen to all of them?
Okay, so as I have ADHD, so as someone with ADHD, I kind of zone out when I'm listening to something.
Yeah.
So, I can't, like, unless I'm sitting down and like squeezing my brain, I struggle. I'm more of a reader. I need to read
Okay.
for something to do it. So there are tons of lectures, and I try to start at least the Yaqeen Institute one because it's visual, so I can keep up.
Yeah.
But then it's lately the last year and this year they're so emotional that
Yeah.
don't I don't want to process these emotions when I have free time. So that's
Yeah.
that's my struggle right now.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a very good point because processing emotions
mhm.
is
Takes
mentally,
energy.
yeah, it's
Taxing.
mentally exhausting.
Yes.
And also it holds us accountable because
Mhm.
once you know a certain truth, now you know it. Now you
Yeah.
know that you're accountable for it.
Yeah.
So
And we were
sometimes I avoid journaling or I avoid thinking about something or reflecting on something
yeah.
because I know it's so uncomfortable.
But like, again, as tired moms trying to like to sit with how you feel
Yeah.
after a long, like, sometimes you can only really do it once they sleep, right? Because you're going to be interrupted. I was reading the Ramadan Reflections book, and then there was an extra there was a chapter about love and how Allah loves us. And it was so profound. I wanted to sit with it, and I closed my eyes, and then, Mama, what can I eat next?
Yeah. I didn't read it yet. Um,
So I
but
put a bookmark,
yeah.
so I can go back to it and reread it and feel it.
Yeah.
And it's been sitting since.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think you got a good point too. Reminded me of something. Well, I know you do have younger kids than mine.
yeah.
I mean, I do have, because I do have the two older than yours.
Mm, Mm.
I'm more able to get my alone time because they keep
Mm-hmm.
each other company.
Company,
So
yeah.
my eldest supervises them.
Mm.
So I do get alone time or nap time.
Mm-hmm.
But even I did. I used to go for drives every
Mm.
Friday. SubhanAllah, something about
That's when you.
Friday.
That's when I think the most as well. Is
Yeah,
through drives.
driving, right? And
Yeah.
between Asr and Maghrib on Friday, we know the dua
Mm.
is accepted a certain time.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Mm.
was motivating for me to just make it like my date by myself. And it
Yeah.
was
I
very,
like
very
that.
helpful, especially the sunsets here in Texas. I love them so
It's
much.
beautiful. The cotton
So,
candy
yeah.
skies here. Yeah.
Yeah. So doing something like that is very helpful. Also, sometimes I'll just grab my phone and record a voice note or voice to
Mm.
text to myself to
Mm.
let all the talking and all the
Marian,
ideas I
that's a good idea. Send
yeah,
yourself a message for later.
yeah. There's also future me letters. Do you know about them? Did I tell you about
No.
them before?
No.
So you can write yourself a letter to come to you in your email box in the future, any future you want, years or months or the next day. And it's so cool. I've been doing them for like at least 10 years, maybe even more.
Mm.
And it's so nice to see what I wanted to do before, what I'm doing now. And it reminds me of intention and having clarity and like how you want to be as a person. You know, you
Yeah.
always, as we talked about the previous episodes, is that you are a servant of Allah first.
Yeah.
And what helps me is instead of just saying, oh, I need to make a list of all the ibadah that I need to do.
Yeah.
Instead, I like to focus on what kind of person I want to be. I want
Yes.
to be this person who prioritizes Salah, who looks forward to Salah and gets nurtured from it, not just doing it because it has to be done, even though, of course, there are moments like that. But the ultimate goal, what I'm looking forward to, is the feeling that I have when I imagine myself being at a certain level of
Yes.
man and a certain, and, like if you see any sales strategy, they always play
Mm.
on our emotions. You
Yeah.
buy something or you go visit somewhere because of the emotions that made you feel.
Mm.
So I think this is a very important step I want to share with you guys. If you find yourself always planning and putting to-do lists of the things that you should be doing,
Mm.
maybe you can focus on the feeling and visualizing to get some
Yes.
clarity on how you want to be, how you want your family to look like. I do this
Mm.
exercise with my homeschooling courses too, because you imagine your family, how it is, how it's interacting with each other. And then you
Mm.
start working on those little things and dua, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
It's actually one of the okay. One of the Waldorf videos I was listening to, she tells you to draw a picture of a plant that symbolizes your family to help you visualize, is it bright, is it radiant, how deep are the roots and stuff like that. So again, for visual people,
Yeah. That's
for visual,
beautiful.
yeah, so for visual, so some of us are visual, some of us have ADHD, so sometimes you can't even keep up with yourself. I urge you and myself to sit down. Okay, don't sit down because we cannot. ADHDers do the best thinking when they're not sitting. They need to be multitasking, right?
I noticed that you need to be going around the room, huh?
No, I don't. Okay. There's men with ADHD is different than women with ADHD. So I need to be multitasking. So I can
Okay.
think deeply. Like if I really need to, for example, when we have co-op and
Yeah.
I need to think about what I'm teaching, I need to make sure that I'm really busy, and that's when all the ideas are going to pop up in my head.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
You can also be rearranging things, organizing,
Yes. Yes.
probably
Yeah, like the
moving
best
your
cleaning
body.
so the best cleaning I do is when I'm on a phone call with somebody and I clean at the
Okay.
same time. I don't, because why? Because the mundane, boring cleaning is
Yeah.
overridden by the dopamine I get through the conversation.
Okay. So this is a message to all the parents when your child does not want to do the curriculum, the homework, whatever you're doing with them.
They're
Let them move.
understimulated.
Let them
Yeah.
move while they're doing it.
Yeah.
They don't need to sit down to do the thing.
No.
They can climb a tree and write on it.
And
Let them,
form versus function. If you need them to write, who said they have to write with pen and paper? They can write
mhm.
in the mud. They can write in the sand. They
Yeah,
can
so
write
it depends on the
outside.
goal that you have. If it's spelling,
Mhm.
we're working on spelling. It doesn't have to be
Mhm.
working on spelling and penmanship at the same time. It could be
Exactly.
just a game. Every time you jump, they
Exactly.
can say a word like the spelling bee, for example.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's
So I don't
awesome
know how
how
we
our
got there.
conversation
I
goes
don't know
from
how we
one
got
thing
there.
to another.
No, but what I was trying to get to is know yourself. Okay. So let's say I know, for example, that if I need to pray witr and qiyam and tarawih after my kids sleep, I want my area to be really nice. I want to have my fairy lights on. I maybe want to have a candle. I want to have a warm drink. And I know if it's messy, I won't be able to have that zen, right, vibe that I'm going for. So I know, for example, before Ramadan, I need to declutter. I need to throw everything out. Everything needs to have a home. If you have ADHD, everything needs to have a home. If it doesn't have a home,
Yeah.
you need to get rid of it because
Yeah.
your physical space will cause mental clutter. It's
Yeah.
scientifically proven. Again, I don't know how I got there, but
Well, I'm sure it's beneficial because so far, all of my friends have ADHD. I still didn't meet anyone who doesn't. So please, if you don't have ADHD, send me a message. Let's become friends. But I agree. I mean, even I don't have it, but I do resonate and I do work better when things are have their homes,
Mhm.
especially when I'm very busy. Like
Yes,
throughout the years of being a mom, whenever I had busy seasons, like being in college
yeah,
or working, whatever, I
hmm
always had to take like 2 weeks to declutter everything and the floor empty and all that to simplify the house. And now, like with 4 kids, mashallah, if things don't have a home, those are 8 hands that are making a mess.
yes. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You'll find the kitchen stuff in the bedroom in a
Yeah,
heartbeat.
all the time.
Okay, so I think what was getting me there, I think we were talking about Ibada or something. Make it
Yeah.
work for you, right? Like if you are a visual simulate someone who seeks simulation, right? Sometimes when you're reading Quran, like some of the Qurans have translation and the ayah together. And sometimes it's stimulating enough for me to read them both at the same time. Um, and it helps me
Interesting.
connect better because I'm getting the translation and the Arabic at the same time. Some brains that's how they need to function. So get to know
Interesting.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, get to know yourself. See what you need to do. So like a lot of the books that I read, they need to be emotion based so that they can relate to me because a lot of the facts based I zone out.
Mm-hmm.
So know what talks to you. Um,
Or body doubling, right?
no, no.
No, it doesn't work for you?
Distracted. No, no, no. I get distracted by the presence of the person. I just want to talk.
Oh, wow. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
It's
That's cool. So thank you, Selma. Maybe every
anytime.
time we can
I don't know why
talk
people
more.
complain about ADHD. I saw someone was saying he took Adderall and he's like, wait, so this is how you guys like function? Like you can hear your
Yeah.
thoughts? And he's like, sorry, this is kind of boring because we can hear 700 things at the
Yeah,
same
and whenever I am under stress and my head is racing, I'm like, this can't be. Is this how you guys are all the time?
all
It
the
is so
time.
much. Yeah, it is too much. SubhanAllah. Well,
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah for all the blessings that
Alhamdulillah.
we have. Alhamdulillah
Alhamdulillah.
for being able to share our ideas and thoughts
Yeah.
with you guys. Thank you so much for the feedback that you gave us and for tuning
I
in
just wanted to
to.
add, sorry, one thing before we close out.
Yes.
Um, I know there's been a lot of current events over the past few days to a week that may be causing a lot of heavy hearts and a lot of stress.
Yeah.
Knowing our demographic, knowing our immigrant population, and knowing everything that's happening here at home, like here in this country and all over the world to our brothers and sisters, please feel free to reach out. Don't feel lonely. Um, a lot of us are going through trials when it comes to the current events that are happening right now. I mean, we are all following.
Yeah.
This is not something to put on a back burner. It does affect your day to day as a mom and as a servant of Allah. Um, we can connect to each other, and with each other we can connect to the Quran and the words of Allah to help get us through this. This is not easy, right? So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah.
Some of us have been feeling some of us have been feeling it this week with everything happening.
Yeah.
And Allah does test us with fear.
Yeah.
But we don't have to do it alone.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like, you will find people to relate to you more than you'd expect.
Yeah.
So please reach out.
Yeah, you guys are not reaching out enough. I need more like deep conversations after what we say.
Yeah. Yeah, of course. Jazakallah khairan, Salma. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Ramadan Kareem. Assalamu alaikum.